All right, guys, so before we go into chapter 8, we're going to do a little bit of review over ratios and how to solve them because I know some of you kind of freak out when you see fractions. So we're just going to take a day to kind of refresh our brain how we handle these when we put fractions and algebra together. So hopefully this is review. If not, you'll relearn it here. And hopefully it won't be an issue as we move forward. You do need to know how to do these though, because in chapter 8 we set up a lot of proportions, and so you'll need to be able to solve things similar to what we're doing today. All right, so if you look at number 1 on the ratio review, the problem is 10 over 8 equals n over 10. So what we're going to do is, some teachers call it the butterfly, some teachers call it cross multiply, whatever. But we're going to multiply things that are opposites of each other. Okay, so we're going to say 8 times n is just 8n equals 10 times 10. And I always like put little circles around the opposites. Okay, well, 8 times n is just 8n equals 10 times 10 is 100. Simple algebra, divide by 8 on both sides. I get n equals 12.5. All right, so I want you to do number 2 on your own. It's pretty much the exact same as number 1, and then we'll go over it. All right, so number 2, what you'll get is you multiply across, so 5x equals 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. So you get 5x equals 21 divided by 5. Then you end up with x equals 21 over 5, which I'm more than fine with. Or if you put that into your calculator, you would get 4.2. Either one of those is fine. All right, let's go into number 3 now. And number 3 is same but different. Like, it's the same process. We just have to add parentheses around this b plus 5. But we'll get there here in a minute. So I'm going to circle my opposites. And I'm going to write 7 times 5 equals 10. Now, I want to make sure I put parentheses around this. Okay, so 10 times b plus 5. Okay, so 7 times 5 is 35 equals, now when I put parentheses around it, I have to distribute this through. So 10b plus 10 times 5 is 50. Okay, now I have an algebra problem, so subtract 50 from both sides. Negative 15 equals 10b. Divide both sides by 10. I get negative 15 over 10 equals b. And negative 15 over 10 reduces to negative 3 halves. And that is my answer. All right, I want you to go ahead and do number 4 on your own. Use number 3 an example, and then we'll go over it. All right, so once again, we multiply what's across from each other, diagonal from each other. And what I've highlighted here in yellow, I've put parentheses around, okay? So don't forget you have to distribute this 9 through, so you get 24 equals 9r minus 27. Add 27 to both sides, and you end up with 51 over 9, which simplifies both of these. 3 goes into both of these numbers, so it simplifies to 17 over 3. I think as a decimal, that's 5.666, repeating forever and ever and ever. So that would be okay, I guess. I would much rather have this because this is exact form. Don't be scared to use fractions. All right, let's look at number 5 now. Now you have 2 things that are more than just a single number, a single variable. So once again, I'm going to make sure I put both of these around. I'm going to put parentheses around both of these. Okay, so I'm going to circle diagonally. So I have 8 times parentheses r minus 9, and that's going to equal 5 times parentheses r plus 5. Okay, don't forget, I'm distributing here and here, and here and here. Okay, so 8 times r is 8r minus 8 times 9 is 72. That's going to equal 5r plus 25. Okay, so let's subtract 5r from both sides. I get 3r minus 72 equals 25. I'm going to add 72 to both sides. 3r equals, what is this, 97? Divide both sides by 3. 97 divided by 3, that doesn't simplify. So you could either have r equals 97 divided by 3, which I prefer. If you put that into the calculator, it's 32.333 or 32 and a third, but this is the way I prefer it. Go ahead and try example 6 on your own. Now use example 5 as an example, and then we will go over it. Don't forget to put these in parentheses. All right, so on number 6, you multiply diagonally and you get 8 times parentheses p plus 7 equals 9 times parentheses p plus 10. Don't forget to put these in parentheses like we had highlighted over here. When you distribute that 8 and the 9 through, you get 8p minus 56 equals 9p plus 90. And some of you did this in the opposite order, which is okay. You should get p equals negative 146. Don't be scared to get a negative, just like don't be scared to get a fraction. That doesn't mean you did anything wrong. All right, let's look at number 7, which is one of the dreaded word problems. And I really emphasize, if you can ever draw a picture or a diagram, please do. It will only help you. All right, so Toby enlarged the size of a photo to a height of 18 inches. So he enlarged it and he got a height of 18 inches. What is the new width? So we want to find the width. We're going to call it x. We don't know. So let's just say this is the new one. 18 by x. What is the new width if it was originally 2 inches tall and 1 inch wide? So its original was 2 inches by 1 inch. Okay, so this is what it started with. He enlarged it and sent it to this. So we're going to set up a proportion, which is what we just did. Okay, so we want to find corresponding sides. So 18 is the height over here and 2 is the height over here. So I'm going to say 18 is to 2 as, now if I start with 18, I have to go x first, as x is to 1. Okay, do what we just did, cross multiply. 2 times x is 2x, 18 times 1 is 18. Divide both sides by 2. I get x equals 18 divided by 2 is 9. So it would be 9 inches wide. All right, I want you to try to do number 8 on your own, and then we'll go over it. Make sure you set up a proportion. All right, so number 8 says Judy used 5 cups of flour to make 8 dozen muffins. Okay, so I just immediately set a proportion. So 5 cups per 8 dozen. Okay, 5 over 8. And that's going to equal, okay, and then it says how many cups of flour? So we don't know. So I'm going to say x cups over what you need to make 20 dozen cookies. 20 dozen. Okay, so if you remove the words, notice I have cups and cups on top, dozen and dozen on bottom. So if I remove the words, it'd just be 5 over 8 equals x over 20. And I can cross multiply and solve, and you should get, you need 12.5 cups of flour.